Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Cyrus appears to be targeting his next victim after saying too much to Lulu, while Jens receives alarming news. Today on General Hospital, Nina approaches Carly with a proposition to work together to break up Drew and Willow. Anna agrees to help Jordan spy on Jens, and Jens makes Drew an intriguing offer. Carly visits the hospital to seek guidance from Lucas. She says Nina phoned her, and she feels Nina is going to ask her to assist her break up Willow and Drew, which she is inclined to do. Carly tells him about her encounter with Drew, and Lucas can't cast stones after blowing up at Willow during Christmas. Lucas claims his outburst did nothing but allow Drew to sweep in and save Willow, and Carly is certain her actions did not help matters. Lucas believes that if she wants to cease increasing the situation with Willow and Drew, working with Nina will be ineffective. Willow and Portia welcome Liz back to work. However, Portia insists that they chat before she begins her shift. Portia and Liz enter Portia's office, and Portia informs her that she never believed she was guilty of causing harm to people and that she was simply following protocol by suspending her. Liz inquires about the current status of the probe. Portia has nothing fresh to tell her because the police have taken charge. Except for the 3 known patients, Sam, Dex, and the elderly woman, no further Digitalis-related deaths occurred last fall. She simply hopes that the cops can apprehend this killer before he strikes again. Later, Lucas asks Willow to rush some labs for him. He also apologizes to her for how he judged her the previous time they met. He also tells her that he is here for her and the kids, with no strings attached if they require anything. She thanks him before leaving to take care of the laboratory. Liz calls her friend Gail at Turning Woods to express her gratitude once more for all of her assistance. Cyrus arrives at Mrs. Brown's home after Gail hangs up the phone. Gail informs Cyrus that he is unable to visit any patients until he speaks with Director Ferner. Ferner meets with Cyrus and tells that he is no longer able to see patients since the mayor's complaint about him visiting Lulu when he had no right to do so was taken seriously. He's also been told he can't see patients at General Hospital. Cyrus overheard the nurse talking to Elizabeth earlier and wonders if she is the source of these lies about him. He complains that these people need him, but Ferner says they'll have to do without him. Laura meets Lulu at Bobby's. Lulu claims she spoke with Jack, who confirmed that Valentine appeared in Germany but fled before he could be apprehended. Lulu believes there could be another method to find her daughter besides the WSB. Lulu explains that she is following famous equestrians on social media to check whether Charlotte is using a fake account, and she is researching the top stables in Europe, as Valentine may be allowing her to take lessons. Laura believes this is a strong lead. Laura then receives a call and informs Lulu that she must leave to try to meet with Drew. She tells Lulu she is proud of her. Later, Cyrus appears and expresses his delight to find Lulu out and well. Lulu informs him that he has a restraining order against her and must leave her alone or she will contact the cops. He claims that everyone misunderstood his intentions, but she knows he was preparing to transfer her from Turning Woods to another state, away from her family. She fled away that night to avoid him and whatever evil plot he had for her. Cyrus yells, "I don't understand." He exclaims that he sat by her, read to her, and that no one has done more for her than he has. Lulu takes her phone from her bag and dials Anna, but when she looks around, Cyrus is gone. At Crimson, Nina gives Maxie 2 tickets to the forthcoming Fashion Winter Formal. Maxie claims these are tough to obtain, implying Nina requires something from her. Nina seeks Maxie's assistance on how to persuade Carly to work with her in splitting up Drew and Willow. Maxie reminds Nina that Willow is an adult who can make her own decisions, and she does not believe Drew would harm Willow. Nina claims he has already harmed Willow by causing her to make terrible decisions. Nina is just glad Drew is staying in a motel because otherwise he'd move Willow and the kids in with him. Maxie admits Drew is buying a property and has asked her to assist him locate a designer. Nina is stunned. Maxie claims Drew does not even have furniture, so Nina is rushing the gun and getting steamed up over it. Nina urges Maxie to stop Drew from moving in and give her and Carly time to figure out how to end Drew and Willow's relationship, as he is not good for her. Maxie questions Nina whether this is because she believes Drew is terrible for Willow or because Willow is with the man she once wanted. Nina claims she and Drew had an ill-advised, brief romance, and she was done with him once she witnessed the effect he had on Willow. Nina claims Drew has a propensity for bringing out the worst in people, and she should have heeded Maxie's warning about getting involved with him. Maxie gloats, saying "I told you so" doesn't sound as good when you agree with me. Maxie believes Willow is acting crazy because she is in love with Drew, and notes that Nina did insane things when she was in love with Sonny. Just suddenly, Carly enters. Maxie leaves, and Nina tells Carly that she probably feels like a hypocrite, and she doesn't blame her. She claims it was eye-opening to watch Drew bulldoze his way into Willow's marriage to Michael, just as she did with Carly's. Carly never expected Nina to confess she was wrong. Nina claims she was, and like her, she is a mother who cannot allow Drew to ruin her daughter's life. Nina says they should work together to break up Drew and Willow. Carly claims that if they are detected, Willow will prevent them from visiting Wiley and Amelia. Nina says that it is a risk they must take. Carly does not want to exacerbate an already poor situation. Nina exposes Drew's plans to move Willow and the kids in with him. How does she feel now? Nina claims that, like it or not, they are Amelia and Wiley's grandparents. Carly asks what she believes they should do. Nina tells Carly that she can gain access to Drew's new home, so would she assist her do whatever it takes to safeguard their grandchildren? Maxie travels to the hospital and discovers Willow. She informs her that James has been begging her to have a playdate with Wiley. Willow says she would enjoy it. Maxie is aware that she and the children have returned to live with Nina and inquires as to her well-being. Willow said she is one of the few persons that asks how she is doing rather than interrogating or judging her. She's realized how lonely she's been. Maxie offers they arrange the playdate at her house, as she has a large backyard. Willow believes she should begin looking for a similar location of her own. Maxie stays quiet. Liz tells Lucas about Cyrus and how she and Lucky are getting close to uncovering evidence he's guilty. Lucas reminds her that Cyrus has already been tipped off that they are after him, thanks to Joss. Liz says he needs to keep Joss away from Cyrus, as if he feels cornered and will only get more deadly. Cyrus emerges in the distance, notices Liz talking with Lucas, and recalls his disturbed Bible at home. Jens meets Drew for breakfast at Café Sherry. He explains that he is a shipper, and the planned esplanade enticed him to this town. Drew adds that environmental concerns have caused a delay. Jens wonders if Sonny has anything to do with the delay. Drew reassures Jens that he doesn't. Jens proposes that Pier 55 could be a new location for the esplanade. Drew points out that Sonny owns the pier and warehouse, so Jens advises the city sees it through eminent domain. He says he'll make a significant financial donation to help cover the costs of the move. Laura walks in to meet Drew and is astonished to see him with Jens. Drew was unaware that Jens and Laura knew each other. Laura explains that Jens was the man who held her kid captive in Somalia. Jens claims he and Lucky have different memories of what happened, and someone who isn't as calm and collected as he is would sue her for defamation. That would be a poor image for the city. Laura takes the hint. Jens invites Laura to join them to realize that all he wants is to contribute to the city. Laura says she'd like to hear what they're talking about. They sit down, and Drew says that Jens has proposed shifting the esplanade to Pier 55. Laura informs Drew that he should submit a proposal for this to her office. She was looking forward to working with Drew to improve Port Charles, but she does not believe Jens is here to do so. She says good day and walks away. Jordan goes to Anna's office and asks to borrow one of the department's micro-recording devices. Anna inquires who will be wearing it. Jordan affirms that she will. Jordan reveals her strategy to approach Sidwell, who has expressed an interest in her, in order to obtain evidence against him. Anna informs her that nobody has been able to obtain any information about him, and they have no idea why he is here. Jordan believes that if she can figure out why, they will be able to locate everything they need to catch him. Anna informs Jordan that Sidwell is extremely dangerous, and she believes he is responsible for the explosion of Sonny's flat. Jordan can't believe Anna won't lecture her about not being a cop anymore. On the contrary, Anna declares that she will assist her in taking down Sidwell in any way possible. Natalia and Sonny are in the waiting area of a doctor's office in LA. She wonders if he intends to tell his children about his heart condition. He doesn't want them to worry any longer than necessary, and he can't give his adversaries a reason to pursue him and his family. A nurse comes out to tell Sonny that the doctor is ready, and he accepts Natalia's offer to accompany him so that he is not alone. After the exam, Sonny was told he needed a pacemaker. Natalia argues he should take this seriously, but Sonny believes he should first discover out who tried to kill him before focusing on his recovery. Natalia notices that the doctor says he needs this done within the next 3 months. They leave, and a mystery man in black pursues them. Jens Stooge attempted to assassinate Isaiah in the hospital. Jens makes his argument at the cafe in Port Charles, and Drew says Jens has given him a lot to think about. Drew leaves, and the Stooge contacts Jens to report. He claims he followed Natalia to a cardiologist in Los Angeles. Jens is surprised that she is seeing a cardiologist. The Stooge claims it's not her, it's the guy she's with, Sonny Corinthos. Across town, Lulu hurries into Anna's office, claiming to have had an encounter with Cyrus. She reveals that Cyrus ran his mouth and said he spent a lot of time with her while she was in a coma, which scared her. She recalls him saying, "No one has done as much for you as I have." She wonders what that means. What has this sicko planned for her? On the next General Hospital, at a playground, Christina asks Ava, "I'm sorry, where do you think you are going?" Joss apologizes to someone. Rick warns Liz about a dangerous man. Martin meets with Willow and asks if she truly wants a divorce. Felicia and Cody look to have attracted Sasha to the Port Charles Grill. She responds, "Forgive me for giving whatever this is a hard pass." Jason questions Tracy's willingness to trust everything Drew says. Carly asks Nina, "How far will you go to get Drew out of the picture?" General Hospital spoilers, Drew declares war on Sonny and Jason, signs his own death warrant. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Drew Quartermain has seemingly declared war on Sonny Corinthos and Jason Morgan. During the Tuesday, February 4th episode of The Soap, he spoke with Anna Devane about how the Port Charles Police Department should focus on organized crime, notably Sonny and Jason. The conversation appeared to be official governor business, raising the question of whether Drew had just signed his own death sentence. Drew Quartermain has been written in a corner. Some GH fans believe a whodunit narrative for Drew is in the works, given how many enemies he's making. Still, Cyrus Renaud appears to be doing the same thing, so the show may decide to take a different approach with Drew. After all, Drew is a shell of his former self, having gone from hero to zero in just a few months. Is there any chance for this character to rehabilitate himself after betting his nephew's bride, seducing her mother alongside her, and turning on his closest friend Curtis Ashford, among other betrayals? That's difficult to say at this point. Is this the beginning of the end for Drew? Drew betraying Michael Corinthos by sleeping with his wife, Willow Tate Corinthos, would be reason enough for Jason to want to end his twin brother's life. However, seeing that he is using his governor's weight to get him and Sonny thrown in jail may put Drew in for good. After all, Sonny shot FBI agent John Jagger Cates point blank because he was infringing on his and his family's rights, not to mention that he felt threatened. What would prevent Jason and Sonny from doing the same to Drew? Not only would a storyline like this be exciting, but it would also provide Drew with an interesting exit, which appears to be the path GH is taking with this character. Will you miss Drew if he leaves? Please share your ideas below. General Hospital spoilers, Austin's fatal mystery solved. Roger Howarth's character finally receives justice. According to General Hospital spoilers, Austin Gatlin Holt's tragic mystery is about to be solved, which means Roger Howarth's character will finally get justice. Fans of General Hospital are aware that Austin died in November 2023, but the show has never revealed who killed him. Of course, many people assumed Cyrus had taken Austin out or had someone else do it for him, but there was no confirmation. Many viewers began to wonder if deceased Austin would simply vanish into nothingness, leaving the issue unresolved. However, it now appears that Jocelyn Jacks may be the reason Austin receives justice. If everything goes well, Jocelyn will hopefully look into Cyrus' lair, which used to belong to Austin. That's what Jack Brennan is banking on now that he's put Jocelyn to the test. We know Jocelyn is looking for incriminating material so she could discover what Austin intended to send over to the detectives before his death. Austin received immunity and agreed to provide his boss's identify to the PCPD along with criminal evidence against him. Unfortunately, Austin never had the opportunity to reveal Cyrus as the person he worked for or to present the proof. The timing of Austin's disappearance shortly after that arrangement was clearly odd. It always seemed as if Cyrus had subdued Austin before he could betray him. Will Jocelyn end up putting everything together? Jocelyn wants Cyrus punished for Dex Heller's death, but Austin is a forgotten victim who needs justice as well. It would be lovely if Cyrus could pay for every crime he's committed, but the most important thing is that he doesn't harm anyone else. Whether Cyrus returns to prison or meets his maker, our forecasts indicate that the end of the road may be near for him. Are you glad the show has finally returned to the Austin mystery and wrapped it up? Will Jocelyn figure out that Cyrus was responsible for Austin's death? According to General Hospital spoilers, there will be more twists and turns as Jocelyn continues to dig for answers, so stay tuned for updates on all the vengeful news and surprising events ahead. The future Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Harrison Chase had envisioned lay in ruins in front of them, destroyed by a fact neither could have predicted. Their love had endured many storms, but this was different. Brooke Lynn had been overjoyed when her doctor told her that pregnancy was within grasp. She pictured the thrill of holding their kid and the life they would establish together. However, Chase's diagnosis had abruptly altered that dream. The revelation that he would never father children hit them like a wrecking ball, sending them reeling with pain that they couldn't understand. Now, as they stood at a crossroads, the question loomed, could their love withstand this? Or were they already sliding into the arms of those who previously knew them best? Brooke Lynn and Dante, a familiar comfort. Dante Falconeri hadn't searched for Brooke Lynn. He had simply been looking for Cody Bell, hoping to find some peace in the craziness of his life. Instead, he discovered her alone in the Quartermaine stables, lost in thought, her customary fire dampened by the weight of her own heartbreak. She hadn't spoken anything about the discomfort in her chest. But as she looked at him, she knew. When she reached out, offering soft-spoken reassurances and a steadying embrace, he allowed himself to lean into it. Brooke Lynn has always been skilled at suppressing emotions and putting on a brave mask. But standing there beside Dante, she let the facade fall, if only for a moment. Will the lines blur next time? Will comfort develop into something more? Chase and Willow, a past that refuses to fade. Chase had spent years attempting to forget the agony of losing Willow Tate, of seeing the life they had planned crumble before his eyes. However, life has a terrible way of bringing the past full circle. Recently, he found himself reverting to old roles, protector, confidant, and the voice of reason in Willow's collapsing world. When he learned the life-changing news regarding his fertility, Willow was by his side. Willow had been the one to inform him, her voice filled with emotion as she delivered the blow he could barely fathom. In that instant, the barriers they had built up over years fell. The years, the agony, the betrayals, all disappeared under the weight of their shared grief. One moment of weakness had already brought them together. Will the next force them into a situation they are not prepared for? The breaking point. If Brooke Lynn succumbed to the seduction of past passions, it would not only rock the foundations of her marriage, but it would also throw the Quartermaine family into disarray. Chase wasn't immune to temptation, however. If he and Willow found comfort in each other's embrace, the betrayal would be just as devastating. Will they acknowledge the truth? Did seeking comfort elsewhere imply that their love had already split beyond repair? Or would they cling to what they had left, assuring themselves that their weaknesses did not define them? Only time will tell. But one thing was certain, if Brooke Lynn walked away from a brief encounter with Dante while carrying his kid, the implications would be irreversible. Drew takes the Savoy away from Curtis with Selena's help. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew Quartermaine has recently become one of the most detested men in Port Charles. Curtis Ashford recently supported Michael Corinthos in stealing Aurora from Drew by manipulating the stock market, and Michael obtained majority shareholding and appointed Curtis as CEO of Aurora. Drew feels deceived by Curtis, a former dear buddy. Drew and Curtis have recently feuded, and Drew would undoubtedly want to exact revenge on Curtis. And what better way than to go after Curtis' nightclub, the Savoy, with Selena Wu's help? Drew Quartermain will want to take something Curtis loves. Drew is ready to strike back after Curtis took his firm away from him with Michael's help, which could explain his encounter with Selena, which Cody Bell cut short. Drew will form an alliance with anyone who can aid him, and Selena is the ideal person to ask to assist him in pursuing Curtis. Selena also has a vested interest in the Savoy, having previously utilized it for illegal gaming, and would gladly assist Drew. Drew and Selena could easily work together to take the Savoy away from Curtis, as Selena had previously attempted to control the Savoy in order to utilize it for her own purposes. Curtis simply couldn't be persuaded. Selena is nonetheless likely to want a piece of the action, and Drew appears to be the ideal individual to assist her in obtaining it. Drew Quartermain and Selena Wu manipulate Curtis Ashford into selling. Selena and Drew collaborating might indicate big trouble for Curtis, and there's no telling what they might uncover to use against him. It has been implied in the past that Selena knows something that could prove fatal to Curtis, but she has yet to use that knowledge. Will this be what convinces Curtis to sell the Savoy? Selena would reveal this information to Drew, which Drew may later utilize against Curtis. Selena and Drew would gain control of the Savoy. Drew may revel in his coup against Curtis and finally receive restitution for losing Aurora. Will disclosing that Brooke Lynn has been lying to him since they were kids at camp ruin everything they have going for them at the Quartermain residence? That may frighten Rocco enough to keep his lips sealed. What are your thoughts? He wants to stay with Danny Morgan, after all. Brooke Lynn is not the only guilty party. Brooke Lynn was only a child when this all happened to her. It was her mother who helped guide her through it, and while Brooke Lynn doesn't appear to harbor any anger or blame her mother for how things came out, she has no idea how they turned out. When Rocco learns that he has another brother and that Lois knows where they are, he will be eager to figure out that side of the puzzle. Will this take him to Giovanni Gio Palmieri? Perhaps it's not so bad. In the end, we have the impression that this will work out better than Drew Quartermain's involvement in this chaotic family. After all, everyone already loves Gio. However, it may not be wrapped up neatly for Dante, who is sure to be furious with Brooke Lynn. Furthermore, they may both be furious with Lois for her lie, even if it means they will have a relationship with their son. Will this end well? Will Lucy get in the way of Jordan's investigation into General Hospital? Lucy may jeopardize Jordan's plan. Can she be stopped? Lucy from General Hospital constantly manages to get herself into trouble. She has a propensity of putting her nose where it does not belong. This time, she might endanger herself and others. Unlucky in love. Lucy has a wonderful heart yet manages to screw up everything, even her love life. She has been married several times and has cheated on many of her husbands. Her previous engagement with Martin Gray ended last year after she was discovered in a compromising situation with her ex Scott. She tried to get Marty back, but he was done with her. Lucy is currently single but busy as a bee at work. She helps operate Deception Cosmetics and also works as a realtor. How does the woman find the time? She recently sold the spooky Windmere estate to the equally horrific Sidwell, a murderer and kidnapper. But that wouldn't stop Lucy from being interested in the man, as she has made clear. Lucy's charms may not be working because Sidwell appears to be captivated with Jordan. Undercover angel. Jordan is too smart to fall for a crook, no matter how charming he is. Furthermore, she is falling for Isaiah, and the attraction is mutual. She wants to apprehend Sidwell and hold him accountable for the innumerable crimes he has done. The deputy mayor noticed his interest in her and aims to use it to gain his trust. Dr. Gannon offered to assist her go undercover to get the individual who was holding him prisoner. Jordan was once the police commissioner, therefore she knows how to catch a crook. Jordan is unaware that Lucy is jealous. The Port Charles realtor does whatever it takes to get what she wants, and she appears to want Sidwell. Lucy would undoubtedly sabotage Jordan's plans. She would most likely intervene to grab the international criminal's notice and persuade him to leave Jordan. In classic Lucy form, she will most likely derail Jordan's plan and get herself into more difficulty than she can handle. She made the same error with Victor Cassadine several years ago. It would not be surprising to see Sidwell holding Lucy captive shortly. Do you think Lucy will sabotage Jordan's undercover mission? Please let us know in the comments section. Alexis sat in the dimly lighted room, the weight of the revelation pressing on her chest like an iron vice. Sam's death was not merely an unfortunate accident, it was murder. The words echoed in her thoughts as she told Molly and Christina the horrible reality. The disbelief on their expressions matched her own turmoil, the utter unfairness of it all sinking in like a dark fog. Sam had gone into the hospital to save a life, not to have her own stolen. It was a sad turn of events that none of them could accept. Molly walked the floor, arms tightly crossed across her chest. Who would do this? And why? Christina clenched her fists, her anger barely restrained. Whoever it is, they're going to pay. Alexis inhaled sharply to steady herself. We need to decide how to proceed. Will we seek justice or vengeance? Molly, ever the voice of reason, paused pacing and met her mother's gaze. Is there a difference? Christina scoffed. If the cops won't get answers, then we will. Alexis nodded, aware that both roads would be perilous. They were more than just three mourning women, they were a force to be reckoned with. Sam would not be forgotten, no matter what happened. Meanwhile, Carly found herself sat across from Lucas at Kelly's, sipping cold coffee. She'd scarcely touched it since her mind was so worried with everything sliding out of control. Lucas, ever the forthright one, did not bother with politeness. So, what's the true reason you returned? Carly sighed. Michael. Willow. Drew. Take your pick. Lucas arched his brow. Not Brennan? Carly chuckled without humor. I think that mess speaks for itself. Lucas reclined back with arms crossed. And you believe you can cure everything? Carly, you don't have control over everything. That hit a nerve. Her eyes furrowed as her defensive instincts kicked in. I protect my family. Lucas shakes his head. You blow things up, then try to pick up the pieces. Carly tightened her mouth but was unable to argue. Maybe he was correct. Perhaps she had crossed a line by exposing Drew in public. But Michael was battling for his life, didn't she have the right to be furious? Willow stood at the window at Quartermain Estate, watching the youngsters play outside. She had a decision to make, and it would change everything. Staying here seemed both appropriate and suffocating. Her children enjoyed this area, and Michael wanted them to be stable. But, at what cost? Drew's hopeful words rang in her memory, as did his promises of a future together. And then there was Nina, the lady who had pushed so hard for a place in Willow's life, despite Willow's objection. Her skull ached. Someone would be wounded regardless of which option she chose. The question was, who mattered most? Sasha was not in the mood for small talk at the Savoy. She'd remained silent long enough, but the whispers surrounding her had reached a breaking point. Jason is her baby's father? It was ridiculous. Nonetheless, many muttered and followed her, waiting for confirmation. When she saw Drew nursing a drink at the bar, she saw red. She ignored politeness as she marched up to him. What the hell is wrong with you? Drew barely had time to respond before she continued, her voice filled with rage. You put my name out there like gossip to get back at Carly? Do you have any idea what you did? Drew sighed and laid his glass down. Sasha, I didn't. She cut him off. You did not think, that's what. You allowed this community to feast on lies, and now I have to clean up the mess. The pub fell silent as curious people turned to watch. Sasha's hands trembled as she struggled to contain her rage. Drew massaged his temples. If Cody hadn't told me. That is all she needed to hear. Her rage moved like a hurricane changing direction. Cody. He'd started this. He claims she overlooked his transition into a kind man who wants the best for her. She's convinced he had a twisted plan for her. Cyrus claims she has no idea of the devotion he showed her. She steps back, gets her phone, and contacts Anna. Cyrus disappears. Back at GH, Lucas summons Willow to a room and apologizes for what he said the last time they saw each other. He vows to be there for her and the children if they need anything. Lucas runs into Liz, and they talk about Cyrus and how he needs to be caught. She claims she and Lucky are close to discovering evidence of his guilt. He informs her that Cyrus is already aware that he is a suspect, due to Joss. She asks him to keep Joss from Cyrus. Cyrus stands a few feet away, watching them, and is concerned that his Bible may be disturbed. Maxie visits Nina's office and receives a gift. Maxie assumes she is after something. Nina reveals she wants her help on how to convince Carly to cooperate with her. She needs her help in splitting up Drew and Willow. Maxie claims Willow is an adult who can make her own dumb decisions. Nina complains about Drew and is concerned that he will find a place to live and bring Willow and the kids in. Maxie says she has already committed to assist him hire a designer for his new home. Nina requests that she find methods to delay the relocation, but Maxie refuses to be her minion. She wonders if Nina is really concerned about Drew being terrible for Willow, or if she just wanted him for herself. Nina swears she's done with him and is just concerned about his ability to bring out the worst in people. She confesses Maxie was correct to warn her against becoming entangled with Drew. They are concerned that Willow's behavior is due to her romantic feelings. How are her dumb decisions any different than those they've made in love? Carly arrives, so Maxie goes for a jog. Carly is forced to sit down as Nina apologizes for the damage she caused to her marriage. Nina states that she cannot sit by and let a man wreck her daughter's life. She wants them to cooperate to keep Willow and Drew apart. Carly despises them as a pair, but believes the damage has already been done. They discuss their previous setbacks, and Nina expresses her desire for assistance. If they don't act quickly, Drew may move Willow and the kids in with him. Nina says they both want the best for their grandchildren. She can get them access to Drew's new house, which could be beneficial. Maxie travels to GH and arranges a playdate with Willow for their children. She inquires as to her well-being since returning to live with her mother. Willow expresses her gratitude that no one is criticizing her, and they plan to meet to discuss it. The nurse admits she is thinking of moving somewhere more kid-friendly. Sidwell and Drew share breakfast at Café Sherry. He reveals that the Esplanade was one of the reasons he came to town and questions why it is being delayed. He wonders if Sonny had anything to do with it. Drew says he just cares about his constituents. They discuss another place for the Esplanade, and Sidwell points out that the government could take over the space where Sonny operates his coffee shop. Laura interrupts, not happy to see Sidwell. He laughs as she explains how Sidwell held her son captive. He threatens a defamation suit, but Drew argues it's not the time or place for it. Sidwell asks that the mayor join them so that he may express his desire to contribute to the city. They sit and debate Sidwell's proposal to gentrify Pier 55. Laura is confident that Drew is simply concerned with what is best for his constituents, and she believes Sidwell cannot be a part of it. She walks out. Sonny and Natalia are in a hospital in Los Angeles. He's determined to find out who firebombed his penthouse. They talk about his ailment, and he's still determined to keep it from his children. The doctor summons him, and he brings Natalia with him. After the checkup, she inquires as to why he is postponing receiving a pacemaker and medication. He needs to complete it within the next 3 months. Sonny appreciates it, but he needs to ensure his family's safety first. After they go, someone gets up after spying on them and calls Sidwell. He was chasing Natalia but noticed her with Sonny. Jordan visits Anna's office and requests to borrow a micro-recording device. She reveals that she met Sidwell and intends to take advantage of his interest in her. Anna thinks this is a poor idea, but Jordan reminds out that no law enforcement agency has been able to obtain any information on him. They need to figure out why he is actually there. The commissioner informs her how dangerous Sidwell is. She's certain he was behind the firebombing. That's why she offers to assist her. When Jordan leaves, Lulu jumps in and tells Anna about her encounter with Cyrus. He said that no one had done more for her than he had. What may this mean? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.